Let me move on. Once the report was presented to Swami, Bhagwan approved it and said, go ahead, start immediately. And work was started at several sectors simultaneously and not, as is normally done, one thing at a time. Swami did not believe in one thing at a time. If work has to be done, do it. And if you can do it in all places simultaneously, go ahead and do it. I want it finished as quickly as possible. That was one very interesting thing about Swami. He was always rather impatient once he started a project. So much so, I used to say, Kasturi wrote a book called Loving God. I am going to write a book called Impatient God. I've seen a lot of that impatience as Vice Chancellor, especially. Anyway, becoming more serious, once the work started, Swami wanted somebody from the Central Trust side supervising constantly. That is something he always did. If he started a project and he gave the contract to a company, he wanted somebody from his side to see the work in progress constantly and report to him as frequently as possible, preferably daily. And back then, during the Anantapur project, Swami used to get daily reports. Apart from that, once a week or so, Mr. Ramakrishna and Kondal Rao would come and they would show photographs and keep Swami appraised of the progress. Work progressed very fast. And once Swami was so keen to see it, he was actually taken in a plane, small plane belonging to L&T. It took off from Puttaparthi airport. Swami was away for 3 hours. He flew all over the construction sites and came back. He was very happy. Okay. All that happened between March 95 and we now come to November 1995. Incidentally, that was the year of Swami's 70th birthday. We recently celebrated last year the 85th birthday. So what I am talking about goes back 15 years. In November of 1995, on the 18th to be precise, Swami held a function in the Purnachandra Hall. This time also, Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao was invited as the chief guest. There was no Venugopal. So what was the function about? The function was the inauguration of the Anantapur summer storage tank. It's a huge tank, about 60 acres or so, and that was the storage tank that supplied water to Anantapur town. So Mr. Narasimha Rao came and sitting in Purnachandra Hall, he pressed a button and that button was connected to the pumps in Anantapur, which is about 70 kilometers from here. And the pump started working and water started flowing from the taps.
The pumps and motors are on. The people of Anantapur town are indeed blessed for having been endowed by Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba with the gift of drinking water through the scheme of summer storage tanks here.
This Anantapur district, basing on the statistics available, it is the district where there is low rainfall. At several of the places, the water is not fit for drinking purposes as it is polluted. I know this district very well. I know every village. I served as the minister in charge of this district. It is very difficult to work here because of many inconveniences. And today, this district has taken a new form altogether. This district is known for the shortage of water, non-availability of drinking water, and today there is water supply. This is all the proof of Bhagwan's grace. We tell everybody, we declare that this is because of Bhagwan's grace we have drinking water today. It amounts to our fortune and good luck.
Just 9 months after he gave the order go. You know, in those 9 months, about 80% of the Anantapur drinking water project, which is a massive project by the way, had been completed. Now the project had so many aspects to it that a lot of people got chance to inaugurate bits and pieces of it. While the Prime Minister got a small piece of the action, the President of India got most of the action, and that happened on birthday, Swami's 70th birthday, in the Hillview Stadium in public view. It was a gala function, and if I remember correct, Swami was in a white robe. The President was there, and the current Prime Minister, by the way, also was there. He had come for delivering the convocation address on the previous day. So Dr. Manmohan Singh, the future Prime Minister, and at that time he was the Finance Minister, he was there. And Dr. Shankar Dayal Sharma, who was the President of India, was also there. Shankar Dayal Sharma, for those of you who do not know, was a devotee from a very long time. And he used to come to Swami regularly from the time he was first appointed Governor of Andhra Pradesh. That means all he had to do was to come from Hyderabad to Puttaparthi. Of course, there was no airport in those days, but he did not mind. He drove down or came by train, and he used to come to Swami often. Then he was made the Vice President. He came again often. And when he was made President, the first thing he did was to go to Tirupati, get his head shaved, and promptly showed up with a shaved head in the Purnachandra Hall. It was a very sudden visit. He was thus a frequent visitor to this place, and he simply was thrilled to have the opportunity to inaugurate the entire Anantapur drinking water project. Of course, only 80% had been completed, but then that's more than 50%, so you can say it was almost done. Normally, after inauguration, the tempo slackens and projects sort of drag on and on and on, but not in Swami's case. He sat tight and made sure the project was completed. The project was completed by about March 1996. 1 year. In 1 year, the entire drinking water project was completed. Massive project. I'll give the statistics shortly. So what did he do afterwards? Did he hand over the project to the government? No. He said, we must test the system. So he told the Central Trust in L&T, run this project for more than a year. Make sure that everything is working properly, or not only from the machinery side and the technology side, but also that people are getting drinking water properly in their taps without any hassle. That's very important. The real problem in Anantapur was not only was water scarce, but it was a hassle to get it. I don't want any hassle. People have suffered enough. So make sure about this. So L&T and the Central Trust worked out a very nice scheme for ensuring that pumps are run properly, water is distributed regularly every day, whether it is rainy season or summer or winter or whatever it is. And there were no breakdowns. If there are breakdowns, immediate repairs were undertaken, etc. So in a sense, the system was debugged, shall I say, for nearly a year and a half. And when Swami was sure that everything was pakka, he decided that he would hand over the project to the people of the state and as a gift. But before that, he wanted to make one last thing certain. So what Swami did was, he talked to the Chief Minister and then said, we will have a separate administrative committee that will report directly to the Chief Minister. This committee would be presided over by the District Collector of Anantapur and would have representatives from the Central Trust, from L&T, from the government and the people. Beneficiaries were also there. Why? Because if there are some problems, they could openly come and tell the board and not come through petitions and so on and so forth. And this committee would not be under any government department like irrigation department or public works department and all that. Swami was very particular about that because all these departments have too much red tape. If there is a problem, it will take months and months before somebody attends. Swami did not spend crores of rupees for water supply to be interrupted indefinitely due to red tape. He did that project because he wanted to remove the sufferings of the people. And he didn't want the sufferings to come through the back door via red tape. He was very clear about it. So he made sure about this institutionalization and then said, we will now have a formal handover ceremony. And it is that ceremony which took place on the Dasara of 1997. So I come back to Dasara Day. That function, as I told you, was held in the afternoon, around 3 p.m. or so. And basically on that occasion, what Swami said was, I am going to gift it to the people of Andhra Pradesh. But then that came towards the end of the function. In the beginning, after the introductions and announcements, etc., Justice Bhagwati, he spoke on behalf of the trust, explaining why Swami did the project and so on and so forth. Then a number of others spoke. Mr. Kondal Rao spoke, Mr. Ramakrishna spoke, Mr. Chakravarti, who was supervising from the Central Trust side, spoke. And interestingly, all of them spoke only in Telugu. There was no translation. Mr. Chakravarti can converse fluently in Telugu, but giving a stage speech in what you may call proper non-colloquial Telugu, it was a challenging task even for him. He therefore prepared his speech and read it out and came through unscathed. And after that, the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh spoke. He spoke from his heart.
The people of Anantapur district have been facing severe difficulties with regard to drinking water. Swami has solved this problem in record time, what others elsewhere could not have accomplished in the same duration. This project was started in March 1995. Since then, spending 310 crores, water has been provided to 731 villages, covering a population of nearly 1 million, by laying 750 kilometers of main trunk pipelines and 1,750 kilometers of branch lines, by building 260 overhead reservoirs and 124 ground-level reservoirs, constructing 40 booster stations and 7 summer storage tanks, and digging 280 bore wells. All this work ought to have been done by the state and the central governments, but it was done single-handed by Bhagwan Baba. As L.N.T. Ramakrishna said, such massive work could not have been accomplished in this record time but for the grace of Baba. On this occasion, I have only one submission to make. The state government will maintain this project in the same sacred spirit in which this project was started and completed. This is my public promise to you, Bhagwan Baba.
Basically, what he said was the following. All this work ought to have been done by the government. The government failed to do it, and Swami has done it. That is what he said. He openly admitted it. He was not shy about it. He was sad about it. He was sorry about it. He was also a bit ashamed about it. But he was grateful that Swami did what the government ought to have done and failed to do. And Swami spoke last, as always. And he made a very important point.
He really took up the way ఉంటున్నాయి ఈ